like they hire external studios to make these things. Like they're not done in house. It's not like their developers are, finely tuning, crafting their stuff. It's like these are the sort of things that are just done by separate teams completely. Like they'll be given assets from the game to sort of like up-res and make better and stuff. But past that, like it's handled by a completely different crew. Hey everyone, and welcome to the Polygon Forest. I am Ubisoft concept artist Vin Hill, and I am joined as ever by indie developer himself, Mr. Christopher Jarvis.
Hello.
So today we have got a lot of little fiddly bits to get through, but first, before we get to any of that, Chris, how's it going? How's the indie life going? Indie life.
It's going.
Indie
life.
Indie game dev. Life?
Indie devy life.
Indie devy life.
Yeah, it's
indie solo devy life. I don't know. There's a joke.
Solo indie devy life. It's going well. Well, it's not going well. That's the problem. I've submitted to a load of publishers and I've not heard anything back yet.
It's vacation week. That's it. That's all it is.
It's vacation week. It could be that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do something really stupid. I told you in the pre-show.
You did.
But now we've got to pretend like this is news to you, Vin.
Okay.
So
I'm bracing myself.
I'm going to do something. You brace yourself. I'm doing something really stupid, a bit off the wall, a bit wacky, a bit left field. I'm going to buy a very expensive synthesizer called the OP1 Field. It's just been released, and it's a lot of money. And I'm not known for my music, and the idea is I'm going to make some videos on it and try to get a bit of exposure, and then maybe it could lead to some gigs. It's going to be what I'm going to use to make all the music for my video games. And the idea is that it will drum up a bit of marketing, a bit of interest. Might be get a few paid gigs here and there for video games. Who knows? But it's a way to get some more marketing for myself as like a brand and get some awareness of what I'm about. And hopefully that will get me some interest from publishers for the indie game.
Okay. So
that's that. That's what I got going on.
Right.
What have you got going on?
Yeah, I mean, I've been watching videos of the OP1 Field. Looks very cool. I don't know if I have that much cash to swing around right now, but
I don't have that much cash.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is about that thing, it's like it looks so cute and cool and small and cool and all that sort of stuff, but then like you see the price tag on it, you're like, oh Jesus, that's a lot of money. So yeah, it's tough, man. Yeah, it is something that look really cool. I mean, I'm curious to see what you do with it when you do get it, because like from all the videos that I've seen online of people playing around with it for music production, it looks really, really cool. So hopefully you got some good video game music going on.
Hopefully so. Like, sound design stuff. That's the plan. Get some of that on the go. Ambient sounds, soundscapes, sound design, sound effects. Upload it to the Unity Asset Store, Unreal Asset Store.
Yeah.
See if get any nibbles.
Nibbles. Everybody likes nibbles.
Yeah. And then if I can drum up some marketing presence for myself, who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? How's your game going?
It's going. Yeah, I was. I pulled out a camera this morning and I was like, I'm gonna record a devlog for the first time, and then I got 1 minute into it and I was like, I have no idea what I want to say, so I stopped recording straight away. So I'm probably gonna have a think about that this week and sort of I'll probably have that coming up over the next week or something. But I need to start doing like proper videos, like dedicated devlog videos to sort of show exactly what I'm up to. Because I've had a bunch of people asking me questions about it recently. It's sort of like, I probably should explain that. So we'll see.
Interesting.
I know you already do them, don't you?
Every now and again. Sometimes, you record stuff and it doesn't record properly. You have to throw it away and you just go, okay, this week no video. So that's totally part of it. Like, so don't worry about it. Like the fact that you got the camera out is great. And you know that next time you got to have something in your head that you want to talk about first. And you'll have that next time, so that's good. Yeah, you need to get a YouTube video, YouTube channel dedicated for the game set up.
Yeah, I've already got a channel for it, which is like for Hillfort Games, which is what the trailer's on at the moment. I haven't even checked that thing actually, like the trailer. Like it's been a while, so yeah, I might go and check that now actually. Like now I'm thinking about it. But yeah, I've already got a dedicated channel for it. It's just a matter of like producing the actual
putting stuff on it.
Yeah, it's producing the actual the actual videos and stuff, especially devlogs as well, because I know how damn important them things are for like marketing and just getting people interested to sort of and answering questions as well. It's like there's a bunch of people asking me questions about it, so
Yeah, I would go on TikTok as well. I know it's childish and it is actually brain rot. Like sitting on TikTok watching videos, it's bad for you. It cannot be good.
Right.
Like nothing ever good came from anyone watching TikTok, except for like knowing what all the kids' memes are. Like it's
Sure.
where the memes come fresh.
It's where memes go to be born, I guess.
Yeah, it's where memes are born, and which is fine, but yeah, it's so bad for you. So I try not to look at it. I upload the video and then I just like leave straight away, and I don't stay around. But I get so much more natural, what's the word, like organic growth from TikTok than anything else.
Yeah,
it's bad. It's bad in that it's difficult to engage. So you can't leave comments as easily, or at least you don't get as many comments as say something like Twitter or YouTube. But for me, I don't get comments or likes on YouTube and Twitter anyway. So I get more views than YouTube and Twitter combined on TikTok. So at least the first part of the marketing, like the exposure part, that's the best platform I can see. So like more eyes have been on Focus Find through TikTok than anything else. So yeah, I'd say that's good. But then you've got to, engage is important part, and then you've got to do this. What's the next part of the sales funnel? Engage, and then the fans or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
So exposure, engagement, and then the last bit is wish list, I suppose.
Yeah, when it gets a bit more serious, I'm gonna set up I'm gonna buy a GoPro or something and just set it up in the office so I can if I ever have a moment or something, I can just flick it on and record something really quick, and then at the end of the month I can literally just chop all that together, and then sort of chip through it that way. It's because the problem is right now is having to set stuff up. Because the only thing that I've got right now is this webcam, and I need to buy an action camera or something just so I have it for them sort of moments. And that's the only thing that's sort of blocking me right now is just the accessibility. Because I don't want to. The thing that I'm trying to avoid is people that make the content for the YouTube video rather than just documenting stuff and then putting that into the YouTube video, if that makes sense. So people are actually setting time aside to record stuff versus just naturally talking about stuff as they're going. That's the thing that I'm trying to sort of shift around at the moment, because I don't want to have to spend a week editing a video to a good standard or something and take time away from developing the game. Basically, that's what I want to try and find a nice sort of middle ground between them two things. So yeah, I'm thinking about that right now and see how it goes. But yeah, we'll see. But if you are interested in that, then go and check out Hillfort Games on YouTube. I've got the trailer for Long Gone on there already. You can subscribe to there if you are interested. And of course, Chris is as well. He does devlogs already. He's quite versed in this already. So go and check out Acrylic Pixel. And we didn't do our call to action, so that is not good. Yeah, wishlist our games on Steam. Focus Find, me, and Long Gone for Vin. Indeed.
Join my Patreon community. Focus Find or Acrylic Pixel Patreon. I'm on that. Yeah, that's good.
Indeed. But yeah, in typical indie game. So I'm still working on the game itself. Obviously, I've got one of the final puzzles done in the vertical slice yesterday, which I'm feeling really good about. It's just a matter of content now. I've got a couple more animations for the opening cutscene, and then it's just making stuff look cool, and that's it. So I've got a good. I'm on good track to my deadline is basically October to get the vertical slice done, and I'm on track to get done before that, I hope. So yeah, we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, that's nice.
Indeed.
I have a milestone in October, which is I'm going to start putting because I don't have any credit cards, but now I've got a credit card, and October is when I need to start paying off the credit card to have enough time. So it's a complicated story, but my milestone for
I hate credit
payments
cards.
is October.
Yeah, I remember, ever since when I first started uni, I guess, so in 2007, this is years ago, I went into the bank and they gave me my debit card. I'm like, oh, do you want a credit card too? And I was just like, not really. I don't use them. It's well, you don't have to do anything. It's it's basically free. You can just take one if you want it. And you can pay it up front. And I was like, I really don't, because I was brought up against them pretty much. I wasn't really that fond of them. and I took it and I used it like, and I put like £60 on it or something, like for like small tiny things, and I had £60 on this credit card, and it literally kept me up at night. I was like, £60 is on my credit card, £60 on my. This is like, first year of uni or whatever, and just like the concept of debt was just awful to me. So I just never. Like I paid that off and I bent it in half and threw it away. I never touched it again. And like ever since, like I've always had this weird like love-hate relationship with credit cards. Like I know you have to use them to build up debt and stuff, or build up credit. Sorry,
credit.
And it just that stuff just annoys the hell out of me. The fact that we live in this world, but can't be helped. Yeah. Anyway, just credit cards aside.
Video games.
Yeah, video games. Let's talk about some video games. Do you want to kick us off?
So I'll just say what we're going to talk about in case anyone's thinking, what are these guys going to talk about in this video? We're going to go over the Star Wars Jedi Survivor trailer. We're going to talk about the State of Play, which is happening on the 2nd of June. Sony State of Play. And then Sony have got some TV shows that are going to be coming out based on video game IPs. So stay tuned for that. But we'll talk about the Star Wars Jedi Survivor trailer that dropped.
Indeed.
So this has just come after the leak that happened where the game name was announced. So it's Star Wars Jedi
Survivor.
Survivor,
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. What was the first one? So it's Star Wars Jedi...
Fallen Order was the first one.
Fallen Order. Right, so it's Fallen Order, and then this one is just Survivor.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you see the trailer?
I did. I'm playing it right now, so people watching the podcast can actually see it as well. It's a CG trailer. Like there's only so much I can get hyped for. Like I spoke about this in the pre-show.
Yeah, it's such a downer, Vin.
Yeah, I know. I apologize, but to be fair, Jedi Fallen Order was my game of the year that year. I absolutely loved the first game. Like
I loved it.
Star Wars Metroidvania, action adventure. Yeah. Nom. Like, give me more. Yeah. Like, I love this stuff. Like, it's great. It's just, I personally don't get excited by CG trailers. It's just like, yeah, it's a trailer.
And that's the major headline off the back of this trailer. Is like, doesn't it look amazing? Yeah. And it's like, yeah, it does look amazing, but that's got nothing to do with the video game. Like, literally nothing. Like, no one that's working on the video game, apart from like higher ups and execs that aren't actually doing the art. There's no, like, there's a trailer company's working on the trailer, like a CG trailer company. Yeah,
probably like Framestore or someone. Like I know these guys, right? Like there's a lot of.
You've worked for these sort of people, haven't you?
There's visual effects studios that literally just cater. They just work on CG trailers. Like all the Call of Duty CG trailers, they're all done by a specific company. Like that, I think Framestore might work on those as well, actually. So there's. Like they hire external studios to make these things. Like they're not done in house. It's not like their developers are, finely tuning, crafting their stuff. It's like these are the sort of things that are just done by separate teams completely. Like they'll be given assets from the game to sort of like up-res and make better and stuff. But past that, like it's handled by a completely different crew. And these are the same people that'll actually work on the cutscenes in the game as well. So if there's any like pre-rendered cutscenes, people normally work on that sort of stuff. Like it's starting to merge together more and more now, but for stuff like this, it's not.
The major takeaway is it has no bearing on the game.
Absolutely not.
This part, the guy in the tube and Cal coming along and seeing the guy in the tube, that might not even be in the video game. But if it is, it's not going to look anything like that.
Sure. Well, this is the thing. Like I did want to mention about this. The game is slated to be next gen only. That is the interesting takeaway for me, is the fact that it's not coming to last gen consoles, which is a good move. Finally, like we're getting to that point now where it's like, all right, let's start leaving the old boys behind. I personally think it's taken longer than it should at this point. Like we should be well into next current gen by now, but we're sort of holding on.
Is that because of COVID though? Do you reckon?
Maybe I think a lot of it's to do with. COVID, like, but delaying games as well. Like, so a lot of games that are coming out over the past year should have come out the year before that. And on top of that, we've got a lot of hardware shortages at the moment, obviously. Like, people can't get hold of PS5s. They can't get hold of Xbox Series X's a lot of the weeks. The Series S is quite available now, but...
It's very popular, yeah.
For the most part, it's hard to get hold of these things. So that being the case is sort of... Like, it makes sense to cater to the old consoles just because people have still got them. There's still like 200 million of these things floating around. So it's like, yeah, of course, like we're going to make some software for these games, but it's very strange to me that like it's taken this long to sort of start to drop that stuff, because this isn't coming out until 2023 as well, and it's vague 2023, so it's probably the end of 2023.
It's probably holiday. Yeah.
So
yeah,
very strange, but hyped.
It looks really. I mean, again, it looks cool, like in itself, which is fine, and it's given me a bit of hype. And I just love the fact that there was this slew of like devs that were saying, "I'm working on the best game ever. Like I'm working on the best game that I've ever worked on, or the best game that there is." That people are so hyped for their own game, which is great to see.
Yeah,
when people are really enjoying that, and you got to believe them, because they wouldn't. I don't think anyone would say that didn't actually believe it.
Yeah,
I don't think so. The fact that they're passionate about their own game is great. When it's just devs, like marketing people, yeah, sure. But marketing people will say, "Oh, yeah, this is the best game ever."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great to see that people are hyped about it, and that they can actually announce it now, because it was leaked probably earlier than what they like.
Yeah, I think it was just the title that was leaked by Jeff Grubb. It always is Jeff Grubb or Jason Schreier. It's one or the other, isn't it? Grubb, like he didn't announce it. Someone was in his chat or something, was like, "Yeah, it's going to be called like Star Wars Jedi Survivor," and he was like, "Yeah, that's exactly what it's going to be called. Actually, that's what I heard. You nailed it. You got it right." So he didn't even like leak it. It was just like someone guessed it in his chat. He just confirmed it. And then after that, the game sort of got shown. It's so weird, like the politics behind these sorts of games, like licensed games with anything to do with Disney or Star Wars or Lucasfilm or anything like that. It's just there's so many balancing acts that they have to play. Like, God love them. Like I can't even imagine like what it's like to try and be a producer on one of these games, just trying to juggle that machine, and then suddenly the game title leaks, and it's just
Disney,
like panic happens.
Yeah, you got to answer to all those Disney execs. Yeah, it's tough. And it's what I find really interesting is that this video game is taking place in the same timeline as the Kenobi series. So Disney's got that Obi-Wan Kenobi Star Wars series that's out.
Have you seen that yet?
Which I've seen those 2 episodes. I loved it. It was
are they
great.
good? Okay. Yeah, I haven't
really
seen
good.
it yet.
The only thing I would say is that I was expecting there to be more comedy, like a few nods to the prequels, but they're serious, and there's nothing funny about it, which is great, which is fine. It was just a bit of a shock.
Right.
That's my one takeaway. I was like, oh, okay.
It might line up. Might have a couple of episodes with some comedy relief.
Yeah. Because Anakin and Darth Vader, they used Anakin and Obi-Wan, they would be they had a bit of back and forth, they had a bit of banter, but now Anakin's Darth Vader. I don't think they can do any quips. You can't have any comic jabs like, oh, I remember that time on that planet.
I'm mostly curious like how they introduce like the because I know like there was going to be an Easter egg from Star Wars Jedi series, like from the video games or whatever. I'm curious to see how they integrate that more than anything.
What do you think it's going to be? Is it going to be the little droid?
Yeah, it's going to be the droid, right? He's going to show up somewhere, like running by with Cal Kestis, because the actor that plays Cal Kestis, like in the game, like they literally modeled him off the actor.
So they could dress him up like
they could totally just have Cal Kestis in the.
He could come along,
and
that could tie into the game. That could tie into Survivor.
Yeah, it's really weird when you see him like in interviews and stuff. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the woman that they based Aloy off, the Swedish model, and I think she's a model. But it's 1-to-1
visually.
Yeah.
Really?
So they didn't use the voice actor, like obviously Ashley Burke, Ashley Burke. Yeah, they didn't use Ashley Burke's like likeness, but they used like a model that lives in Sweden somewhere. I think she's Swedish. I want to say she's Swedish.
Has she got red hair?
No, but it's like blonde, but it's her like in the face, and it's like, Jesus, that is weird. It takes a second for you to like get out of Aloy game mode, because they're so close, and the Cal Kestis thing is the exact same. Like if you go and look at the actor that played him, it's just like, whoa, okay, that's strange. And I'm not
uncanny.
I'm not sure if it's the same voice actor. I want to say it is, but like if it isn't, then I apologize like for the misinformation. But there is like, he was based off a visual model of an actor, and they do that quite often. They did it for they've done it for characters in Kojima games and stuff.
I believe it is. It was the kid from Click, the Adam Sandler film.
Right.
I think it is the same voice and face actor. Yeah, they used like one person,
Yeah.
I believe. So yeah, I'm hyped for the Star Wars. We don't really talk about trailers much, but it's a Star Wars game, and it was like your game of the year. I think it probably would have been my game of the year as well. Yeah, I believe it would have been. So yeah, Star Wars.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, his name is Cameron Monaghan. That was his name, the actor.
Yeah, but not much we can do apart from speculate what it's going to be about, I guess.
Yeah, it's 1-to-1 actually. Like he could totally just be in the show.
Do you reckon he's going to appear then?
Yeah, he's got to, right? Like, I mean, he's right there.
It's teed up. It's so
Right.
teed up, isn't it?
Yeah,
All they need to do is get him in a costume and come down. He's an actor. You know, they're doing the second game.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the
It
ball
makes
on
sense.
the tee, just hits it off. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like bring in
I
all
would
those
be
fans.
surprised. Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, God knows. I don't know.
We'll see.
We'll see.
But yeah,
I mean,
Star Wars Jedi.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this game. Like, hopefully, it lives up. Like, they've probably learned a lot. It had no business being as good as it was. That was the joke
no
I
one
made
was
at the time.
expecting it.
No one was.
Because Star Wars games were like they had a reputation for being a
Yeah, and
bit
it's
rubbish
EA
or-
and stuff. Like, no offense to EA, it's just like we had this assumption that they were just going to churn this thing out, and very much like they did for Battlefront and stuff. But no, like a Metroidvania single player action adventure game, Star Wars game, perfect, absolutely great. Like, really love the game, so I'm really excited about the sequel.
I am not as excited only because sequels in this sort of generation range from being good to terrible.
I think
So
The Last of
no-
Us just burnt you. I think that's the
Yeah, but then Horizon Forbidden West is good.
True.
But I'm blown away visually. I'm just not blown away by the stuff that blew me away about Horizon Zero Dawn. So I'm in this mode where it's like, what is a better sequel in today's video game landscape that was better than the original?
Yeah, I mean,
can't think of
during
any.
the 360 era, it was kind of the opposite. Like, the first games are always meh, and then the
Like
second
Halo
ones were
2.
great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Halo 2, Gears of Wars 2, like it goes on Uncharted 2, you know, stuff like all of these games were just game of the year hitters, but like all the original game, like Mass Effect 2, right? Like
Far
that's the
Cry
one.
2 was great.
Yeah,
back in
there's
the
so
day.
many, like you could name them off. But nowadays, yeah, it seems, especially with like, no offense to Sony, I think they just had a bit of a dry run when it comes to that. Like, it's not, obviously the games are still amazing, like all the sequels that are coming out, like Part 2, like people are loving it and stuff, but nowhere near as good as Part 1 in my opinion. Horizon Forbidden West nowhere near as good as Forbidden West. Not Forbidden West.
Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn. Jesus, yeah, it's so hard to keep track of all
They're
this.
too complicated.
Yeah, and I'd be curious to see how, like, the benchmark for me will be God of War, like how well that'll be received.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And God of War for me is as good as a game can get. Like, it's so good.
It's
I
pretty
can't
good.
see how I can't see how they can improve on it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like, as long as they don't. The thing is, for me, I get this feeling that games companies are too ambitious, and they go, "We've got this big budget now because it's sold so well and it's a hit. So let's throw everything. Let's throw money at it rather than what made the first what the formula for greatness was."
Yeah.
They don't repeat that. They try to innovate. I get it because they're artists and they're a business and they try to innovate.
Sure.
They try to do more, but they don't just try to tell as good a story within the same, nuts and bolts as the first game. They always try to go, well, let's add loads more crafting. Let's add loads more this, that, and the other. Let's add loads more acting. And sometimes that gets too bogged down and it gets too like a thick soup and too many ingredients in the soup and it gets a bit spoiled. Like, definitely Horizon Forbidden West, it's too much content for it to be enjoyable. Like, it's great. Like, the standard is great. The quality is great.
Sure.
It's just plateaued in terms of your experience. Like, your experience is plateaued. Like, I can't get any more enjoyment if you're going to throw another side quest in, it's going to be on par with the rest of them. It's going to be great. It's not going to tip it over the edge in terms of my enjoyment. So it's just sort of, for me, hovering around sort of 7, 8 out of 10 at the minute. And I haven't done the big mission at the end, but I need to do that. Every time I do that, I get sidetracked with another side mission. So there's something that's making me play them.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, so for me, this Star Wars, I'm guessing, is going to be the same. Like they're going to go, yeah, it's going to be a Metroidvania. We're going to have more crafting. We're going to have more gadgets and more gizmos. And that might bog it down and might not be as good as the first one.
Yeah, it depends on the freedom that their team gets, I guess. Like that's because it's been slated that this one is next gen only and it's a bit darker apparently, which I'm fine with because the first one was like quite lighthearted anyway, and it's fine. Like as long as we're not like attached to characters like we are like in other IP. Like it's still an adventure sort of thing. So it's there's I don't know. I
can kill them and it's fine. Yeah,
I'm quite optimistic about it at this point, but we'll see. We'll see.
We'll see.
Indeed.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments.
Please.
You're excited for Star Wars? Let us know. And with that, we've got a couple of things we can talk about, either the state of play or the Sony TV shows. What do you want to go for next?
Let's get the state of play out of the way.
State of play.
Yeah.
So yeah, Sony are going to have a state of play on the 2nd of June.
Ooh.
It's going to be for 30 minutes. They're going to have announcements and updates, Finn.
Dun dun dun.
Are you excited?
Yeah. I guess I am excited.
That didn't sound like you.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's tough with Sony, right? Because you never know. They're very hit and miss when it comes to their state of play videos these days.
It could be like, here's some indie stuff, and like, oh, okay, fine.
Yeah.
Or like, here's some B-side, like AA games and things like that. You're like, okay, you can still find some good stuff to talk about. Some people are saying they're going to see some God of War Ragnarok.
No.
Final Fantasy 16.
Yep. They'll see that.
Or a remake of Part 2.
Nope. It's all it's the state of play set for June 2nd is to feature, by Sony's account, third-party titles, sneak peek, and PlayStation VR 2 games. So no first-party titles. So it's not going to be anything. They'll save all that sort of stuff for the E3 season. Well, what was rest in peace E3 season.
So no Death Stranding 2 then?
Nope, I don't think so. Well, maybe because that's technically still third party. It'll be a place.
Okay.
It's a third party, but it's a PlayStation exclusive probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we might see something from Death Stranding 2, though I doubt
That'd be cool.
That seems like a
it would just be an announcement.
Thing. Yeah.
It might be an announcement trailer.
They might tease it.
We're making it. Yeah, because was it Norman Reedus?
Yeah, Norman Reedus.
Yeah, kind of leaked it by mistake, and it's like, yeah, we were just working on that now.
God bless Hollywood actors. They have no idea how the games industry works. It's great. I love it.
Yeah.
Like people are like, oh, did you really enjoy working on that game 6 years ago? Yeah, we're working on a sequel right now, sort of thing. It's like, what? You can't just say that, dude.
Yeah.
Like stocks fly up for like Konami and crash back down again straight away. It's like, Jesus, this is literally what happens. Not Konami, sorry. Yeah, of course. Kojima Productions.
Right.
Because
they fell out.
Yeah, that's depressing. Oh well.
So what was your thing? You said you had a theory on what you might see. A wild out there theory.
Yeah, I mean, because if you're gonna, it's tough because like this is a 50-50 anyway. Like this prediction, which I'm gonna throw out. It's 50-50. Like it's either gonna get announced at this event or it'll get announced at the summer event. But like if they show Final Fantasy 16 at this event, I'm pretty sure they're gonna announce the acquisition of Square Enix. Yeah, that's my theory.
I don't know whether or not they would have that in a state of play, though, would they?
Yeah, that's the thing where it's 50-50. Because the summer event thing as well, like this is PlayStation now. This is what they do. Like they do these sorts of events. They're just digital events now. So like they're either going to do it in a blog post or they're going to do it at an event. But if they show Final Fantasy 16, which is slated to be shown very soon by a lot of sources at this point, there's a lot of people saying it's there. It's just like they're ready to pull the trigger on this. Like this will be a good time to sort of give that some room. But at the same time, like while that prediction is still like sat in the back of my head that Sony are going to acquire Square Enix and it might get announced if they show Final Fantasy 16, that would be like the, oh my God, this is crazy sort of acquisition talk and a huge like blowout of Final Fantasy 16. What's more likely going to happen is that they show a bunch of VR 2 games, which a lot of people aren't interested in, just purely because people are not invested in the VR ecosystem or whatever. Like we have an Oculus Rift each. Like we understand like
Quest.
Quest. Sorry, yeah. We both
Quest 2.
We both have a Quest 2. We enjoy it. We're both like interested in this stuff, and we sort of see the potential for it. But the vast majority of gamers out there just don't care about this sort of stuff, and that sort of plays to this idea that they're probably trying to show all this stuff, which is probably going to get ignored during the summer season event. In this event, so like it's probably going to be quite underwhelming. Like whatever they show, so I wouldn't like. I'm not too crazy about it. I think they'll have like at least one game, and I'm pretty sure like it's probably going to be Final Fantasy 16 because I think it sort of fits quite well to like do a small like sort of show off for that and be like, hey, we've got more to show next month, and then just show all the PlayStation VR 2 stuff to sort of get people in the wheelhouse for that. Because if they showed all the VR 2 stuff like in an event in the summer, people will just like skip through it and just be like, all right, show me more God of War, that's what I want to see. But they'll be more inclined to sit through it in this event. I know it sounds strange and it's just this weird timing thing, but yeah, I'm not expecting too much from Sony in this one though. But yeah,
that's interesting. I think there will come a time where there'll be some sort of crossover period. We might even be there now, where they plan to, in the summer showcase time, they plan to have a segment that's like, this is the VR stuff.
Yeah.
Because it is growing, it's getting bigger. People, this whole, a lot of money in it now. The growing popularity, but they need games, don't they? PlayStation.
Yeah.
They need PlayStation VR games. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they might do a bit of that. I'd like to see them do a summer showcase segment, like a proper, like have some dedicated time to it, because I'd like to see them investing in it and growing it. But yeah, I think you're right. I wouldn't be surprised if half of that 30 minutes is VR stuff.
Yeah. Which isn't a bad thing. Like it's like I said, people that are into it like really get it, and it's like, wow, this looks incredible, sort of thing. Like we're probably going to see the Horizon like VR game that they were working on.
Oh yeah.
So we're probably going to see stuff like that. There might be a God of War one where you're throwing the axe at enemies and stuff like that. There's so much you could do like with it.
Yeah.
And I understand like PlayStation have got a lot of like IP and franchises to sort of pick from and choose from and use that stuff. So yeah, we'll see though.
Yeah, I like the Kratos, like the daggers on the chain, like VR controllers. That checks out.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to wait and see. We can only speculate.
Indeed.
Yeah. So what else we got? So Sony, they have been making some TV shows apparently.
Yeah, they have. They've been busy. I mean, are they making them yet, or have they just announced them?
So what was the title? One of the PlayStation exclusives will stream on Netflix and another on Prime Video. J.J. Abrams to develop a live-action Speed Racer series plus Miss Marvel physical season 2 trailers and more.
That was Speed Racer series.
Rotten Tomatoes. So video games Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War, and Gran Turismo to be adapted to series.
Gran Turismo?
How? If you're going to do a Speed Racer, I get that. That makes sense narratively.
I know that because I know they're working on a Twisted Metal TV show at the moment. There's so many like IPs being thrown around right now. But yeah.
Well, I guess if the Speed Racer one takes off, then they'll do the Gran Turismo. But isn't that just going to be like Fast and Furious?
Yeah, like can you imagine like the sort of slapped on? It's like adding a story to Flight Simulator. You know what I mean? Seriously, like what the hell do you do with that?
Yeah, it's a racing game. How can you turn that into a film? And it's not like an F1 racing game, it's not like a racing game like a racing film like Rush that goes around the specific story that happened in the F1 circuit in the 70s, or like a film about Ayrton Senna.
Yeah,
like some like famous racers that actually existed. They're making a film out of a racing game.
So yeah. Weird. So at the moment, like and it's a film as well. The Gran Turismo thing. So as it stands,
the Gran Turismo thing's a film.
Yeah, as it stands, 2022 Uncharted obviously came out. That was done by Columbia Pictures, Atlas Entertainment, and obviously Sony Pictures releasing them. And then we've got films that are in production from Sony Pictures at the moment is Ghost of Tsushima. We knew about that one.
Yeah.
Which, like that's that could be incredible. To be fair,
That could be amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, there's a bad. Yeah, it could be amazing.
Yeah,
You said the
there's
right
this-
sentence. Like, it's not going to be amazing because video game adaptations are notoriously
not
bad.
great.
Like
Yeah.
like Assassin's Creed could have been amazing because they had so much IP to work with at the time. Whereas Ghost of Tsushima, you've only got a director's cut and one game.
Yeah. I mean, Tsushima like is a good benchmark for all of this because it's based off like Kurosawa movies. Like, so it's basically a samurai movie, the game. So they make a samurai movie based off the samurai movie game, based off like Kurosawa game. Like you're lined up for
It's going to
success.
be a modern Kurosawa game.
Yeah,
film.
yeah. Basically, it's just going to be a Kurosawa film. So it's not really a video game adaptation. It's a Kurosawa adaptation at that point. Using the art direction. So it's a very strange, bizarre thing. But like that could be great. Yeah, other games that are currently in production for Sony Pictures, Jack and Daxter is getting adapted to a movie, which could work quite well.
That could be good because of Pokemon, the Pokemon film, Detective Pikachu.
Yeah,
I can see a Jack and Dexter thing. Daxter. Yeah, I can see
Jack
that
and Daxter.
working really well.
Yeah.
The CG is good enough now that you can get them acting with actors, and I can see that working quite well.
And then Gran Turismo is due to be a movie also to be announced.
But so what's Horizon Zero Dawn going to be? Is that going to be like a film or a TV show?
Horizon Zero Dawn is due to be a television series. So in 2023, we're getting The Last of Us, obviously done by Naughty Dog World Games, the Mighty Mint, and Sony Television Pictures, which is a separate. Like you got Alexa.
Sorry, I got to tell my Amazon shut up. Alexa, shut up. Sorry.
Alexa, shut up. You're supposed to say Alexa, stop, because when the robots come and kill us one day, like they'll be taking you, but they'll be like, oh no, this one was polite, he's fine, and then like they'll skip my house, but they'll get you.
That's a risk I'll have to just
Like
take.
Alexa robot will kick your door through and be like, how about you shut up? I can see the whole thing. Anyway. So there's The Last of Us. We already know about that, done through HBO. And then we've got other TV series. So we've got Twisted Metal, which is next, I believe. I think that's the one after The Last of Us, which is getting shown. Twisted Metal is a weird one because it's basically Battle Royale in cars.
But there's already been films about that.
Yeah, maybe.
Like there's a Nicolas Cage film about it. Like Death Proof. Was it Death Proof?
Sure, yeah. Twisted Metal's a bit more wacky than that. Like it could be, it could be kind of like Fury Road almost, that style of stuff. Like you could do some interesting stuff with it. So I'm not too like dismissive about it. Like a lot of people are scoffing at it, but it's like, no, this could be good. Like it could be like a Fury Road style, like post-apocalyptic game with just like absolute chaos going on. It could be really entertaining to see. But yeah, we'll see. Other TV shows at the moment also in production are God of War, done through Amazon Prime. So the Amazon company have got hold of that. And then Horizon is being done through Netflix. So basically what Sony is doing, being quite smart about it, I would say, they're going to different distributors for each one. And they're going to sort of see which one is going to be successful. It's like, okay, like I'm pretty sure the HBO like Last of Us thing is going to win because it's The Last of Us. Like it's already catered for that medium.
It doesn't need to be that good, and it's going to get the numbers. It's going to make money. It's going to be successful. It doesn't really matter it doesn't matter if critically it's not well received. I think that there's enough fandom to carry that.
Yeah. You're going to get like 15 million people watch the thing just based on the fact that they played the game. So you've already got 15 million there, and then you've got the HBO clout as well, which is just there's a lot of money behind that distributor. Versus the other ones.
Marketing.
So it's just I don't know, like it's kind of hard to mess that thing up in my opinion, because all you need is great actors, which it sounds like they've already got, and you need a good art direction. Like if you can nail the look of the thing and you just do the story of The Last of Us, like there's really no reason why you can mess this up unless you just overbog it with stuff. It's written by the same people that did Chernobyl. I mean, and that was an amazing HBO series. So there's really no room here to fail that much, and if they do, that would be an impressive feat in and of itself. But I mean, it remains to be seen. Like though,
And we talked about God of War, and we said, I remember saying, they've got to get the original cast, like the Kratos and the kid, to do the acting. And then I was like, but that obviously didn't happen with The Last of Us. But you couldn't do it with Joel and Ellie. You couldn't have the original actors because they just don't look anything like their characters, age and build and.
Yeah, I mean, there's some actors, like, who would your Joel be? Like, if it wasn't Pascal, like, who would it be?
If it wasn't Pedro Pascal, I think Pedro Pascal is great.
He's a good pick.
I don't know.
I've got one, but
Who? You go for yours.
Hugh Jackman, like Logan Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
would have been
actually
banging.
Yeah, that would have been really good, especially because he's older now, and that would have. And that was what's great about Logan, is that he was like kind of getting on a bit.
Logan is by far my favorite like superhero movie.
Yeah, me too. I can't think of any. I mean, I can't think of any that embodies Joel, only because Joel's got that iconic character status that it's difficult to see anyone else in it.
All right, what about...
I was shocked when I heard about Pedro Pascal, but he's grown on me. Like, the more I've thought about it, and I've not seen him in anything I didn't like, and the fact he's quite... I didn't think he was more as chameleon-ish as what I've seen him be since that's come out. Like, he's done some comedy stuff.
Yeah.
And he's got the chops, so I think he can pull it off.
Yeah, just like, even though he's wearing the helmet the whole time in The Mandalorian, I mean, it's still like, I could see it happening. And as soon as I saw like a leaked like image from the TV set of him like stood next to Ellie, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine, they got it.
Yeah,
no problem. But yeah, like the pick which I would have chosen like before I saw that though would have been Hugh Jackman. Like old Logan, Hugh Jackman would have been great, I think.
Yeah,
but it would have cost a lot of money. I can imagine.
Yeah,
Pascal's
and I
probably...
think the casting for the little girl that played that role in Game of Thrones. I can't remember what the name was in Game of Thrones, but yeah, I don't really sit around thinking about girl actresses because there's not many of them around, is there? So.
Sure. I mean, to be blunt, like, it's kind of like you've got a finite window, right? Because like you need, because Ellie's like 13 years old, and you've got a year to film this thing, and then if it does well, then you've got to do a sequel, and then she's got to be 14 after that. But it's been 3 years, and now she is like a woman, like she's 17. Grown up, sort of thing. So it's kind of you've got to like hedge your bets with this sort of stuff like pretty quick. That's why Stranger Things like blew up. It's because they were just in go mode like all the way through. And just those first 3 seasons.
Now looking at them, they look like they're grown up in their 20s and stuff, but they're still playing kids, aren't
like
they?
The like series 4 is about to come out, and the person that plays 11, what's her name, Millie Brown.
Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah, and she was doing like the behind the scenes, like the kickoff premiere thing, and because I obviously love like season 1, 2, and 3 of Stranger Things, and I was sat there with my wife watching it, and we were watching like the premiere event or whatever for Stranger Things season 4. And, you know, this woman walks out and she's like doing the presentation and stuff. And she's just talking. And then suddenly it just clicks and it dawns on her, like, Jesus, that's Millie Brown. Like, that doesn't look like her at all. Like, what happened? And she's a woman now. She's a beautiful woman. Like, I'm not like, there's no reservations to that whatsoever. And it's just like, but it's this window. Like, and it's the same thing for The Last of Us as well, which they've got a little bit more leeway with The Last of Us at least, because they've got, like, if they cover the whole first game in season 1, they're gold. They're fine. Because if they leave it for a few years, then it's Ellie when she's 19 in the second one. So that's fine. But if they only get like halfway through the first season of The Last of Us and it does well, they need to be doing it like straight away.
You need to be on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want to rush it.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing that TV shows have been doing with, especially Game of Thrones, like they rush the last season or so.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know, like there's the IPs that are lined up, they've got every right to be successful. It's just, unfortunately, we have got this stigma we have to break out of.
So who would be your Kratos and Atreus, and who would be your Aloy?
My Aloy, that's a good one. Kratos, The Rock. Like, I know it's an old trope, but
yeah,
he would do well in that. I'm sorry,
because he can do straight stuff. But, you know, who's the original actor that does Kratos? Because I think he could obviously do it. Yeah. He's a bit older though, but again, he could just totally pull it off.
Yeah,
he does the voice so well, and he's an actor. He's he's done Stargate and stuff. So he's an actor. You know?
They never pick like who we want them to pick.
But they never pick who we want them to be. They never pick the original.
Yeah.
And again, probably Atreus is too old now. Like he's probably older now, and with video games you can de-age them easier, like they did with the actress that played Ellie.
Yeah, this is true.
But like, The Rock. I can't. Now you've got that in my head, I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, but The Rock might be a bit too like comedy based. Like if he pulls a certain face and it's like a super serious like, "Come here, boy," sort of thing.
Come here, boy. I got my axe,
boy.
Yeah. Boy, read this.
They should have just announced a trailer like that for the second game. Just boy, and then just the logo. That's it. People would have laughed. It would have been perfect.
Just the word boy.
Right. Boy too.
I can't think of anything else. And then again, I don't think of like boy actors. Like I have no idea. I'm not one of the Stranger Things kids, I guess.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, the one that got sucked into the Upside Down in the first series. He probably could be a good Atreus, I think.
Yeah, but he's like.
But now he's like 50.
Yeah, like this is the problem, right? Like you see a kid and you're like, that kid will be great, or he would have been great like 5 years ago when they should have started filming this thing.
Yeah,
but that ship has sailed, man. That's the thing.
Aloy, who would be Aloy? Because could it be Ashley Burke? Could she do it?
Does Ashley Burke do that much screen acting? I know she probably does, right? Like that, most of them like jump between.
Yeah.
What about the chick from what was her name?
Game of Thrones, the Jon Snow.
Jon Snow.
The one that married Jon Snow.
She's just taking the piss out of northern accents. Come on. Give me a break, man.
What's her name?
I don't know.
Something Harrington, because she married Kit Harington.
What about the actress from Queen's Gambit? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
That's
Anya Taylor-Joy. She could totally do that. Yeah, I think so. She'd need to beef up a bit. She'd need to get a bit more beefy.
Give her a sandwich. Yeah, that's stupid, man. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different directions they could go in with Aloy.
Yeah.
Depends, because that would need to be. Yeah, that would need to be.
I'm fine with Aloy being short. Like she can be 5 foot. That's absolutely fine. There's no problem, because the whole thing is ridiculous that anyone could take down a robot T-Rex with a bow and arrow. So it doesn't matter how. They don't need to be like Gal Gadot tall. They don't need to be physically strong. They can
Yeah. They need to be agile
got some
more than
leeway.
anything. Yeah. Because it's all about agility, isn't it? Like for Aloy's character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess that would be my pick, I guess. Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah. Well, I would do with that Jon Snow.
Jon Snow lady. Get down road with Jon Snow. Find his wife.
Get her on back at Robot Horse.
Robot Horse. Get down road. God, there's so much. Yeah. No offense to my Yorkshire brethren, obviously. Like I lived there for years, so get down road with toast and father. Talk to father and get some water for him. God, good old Yorkshire. Good times. Anyway, what else are we talking about today? We should move on.
What do you want to talk about then?
I don't know what we got left. What's on the list?
That was everything that we were going to talk about, and then we had something that we might not have talked about.
Okay. Yeah, we'll skip the thing that we might not talk about because
okay,
we're coming up to 10 minutes left, so I figured it'd be a good time to catch up on what you have been playing, Chris. What's new?
So yeah, because we haven't done this in a while, I have actually been playing video games. So I'm still playing Horizon Forbidden West, as I said before.
Right.
But I've also I replayed games which I haven't done in years.
I've been doing that. Yeah.
And it's great, and I love it. I played like 3/4 of Journey.
Oh, nice.
With my boy, and just like cranked up the volume on the soundtracks. This was one of my favorite.
Yeah,
pieces
awesome.
of music ever.
Like he nailed that game, man. Like so good, so good,
really good.
Yeah.
And also, I played a bit of Shadow of the Colossus. So I played some middle Colossi took them down. But I've been playing it on easy mode, which is totally different experience. Which I was really not surprised. Which really shocked me. I was expecting it would be very similar, but playing it second time round, because I already know the puzzles.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying it. It feels more like a popcorn video game, like a sofa, like just chill out for a few hours and just like soak it in sort of thing, and just chill in with my boy. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. And the reason why I've been replaying games is because I'm just broke and I can't afford to buy new ones.
That's a good reason, to be fair.
And so I don't have the Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass, and so I can't play any of those games that I had downloaded. So I had one sitting on my PS4 Pro, and those were games were sitting there because I'd bought them. And so I could play them, and so I did, and really enjoyed it. And I didn't feel like I was missing out on any new games or anything like that. I didn't feel like I was missing the.
It's been a bit of a dry year, if I'm being honest, man. Like it's not.
Yeah.
So it's probably like the best time as any to go back and revisit these games. And I've been doing the same.
And it's totally like solidified my fandom for those games. Like I was a fan of them when I played them, and then like playing them again, dipping in and out second time round. Yep, I totally love these games. Like they are still top tier games, still in my like top 10 games probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Shadow of the Colossus is a great remake.
Oh, it's really good.
Yeah, it still looks so good. Anyway.
Yeah. What have you been playing, Vim?
I've been playing after I polished off Elden Ring and I got the platinum in that game. I was debating because I think I'm gonna restart Horizon Forbidden West just purely because I want to give it like its due diligence sort of thing.
Did you complete it? You didn't platinum it?
No, I didn't finish. I didn't even finish the story. I got to San Francisco and I like fell off because I got so sick of her like constantly giving me hints and stuff like that. And I was just like, this isn't fun. It just feels like I'm on a track that I'm just sat on, just like going along on a ride. I'm just like, this isn't enjoyable. Like I'm not really even though it's like an open world game and I can go anywhere and do whatever I want. It still felt like I was just like being tugged along a track.
Spoon-fed information.
Spoon-fed video games. And I don't like it. And there's nothing wrong with the game being easy or anything like that. It's nothing to do with that because you can absolutely crank up the difficulty on Forbidden West. But because the main thing which I love about action adventure games is that sense of adventure of solving puzzles and the environmental stuff and being able to like figure stuff out. I'm like, okay, walking into an area and thinking about, okay, how can I get up that? Oh, okay, if I just jump up there and wait and try stuff out and fail, I'm like, okay, maybe I've got to find a different route. All that sort of stuff. Just the wind just gets pulled out your sails when you walk into an area and Aloy's just like, oh, I need to get up to that ledge. And it's like okay, like I could have spent like 5 minutes trying to explore that and having fun and looking through all the bits to like, oh, look at this like piece of audio and stuff on the way and exploring. But because you told me exactly where I need to go, I'm not like branching out and figuring out like other stuff. So it's just it's an annoyance of mine which is just growing over the years. Like the older I get, like the more it annoys me, I guess. But yeah, I just hope that they integrate like an option one day where they just remove the vocal hints from these games and just make it so you're if you want to turn that stuff off or if you want to delay it for a certain amount of time, like if you're in an area for 5 minutes and you're still not progressed to the checkpoint, then it kicks in.
Turn on hints.
Yeah. But
like having it as toggling would be, you could totally do that. Like I'm stuck, I need a hint.
Yeah. And I get like they're trying to cater it to as many people as they want, as many people as they can, but like there's this moment of, like who are you really helping at this point? Like you're trying to onboard people onto your game that aren't really interested anymore. They're just like, because they're so not used to video games or whatever. So it's just weird dynamic to it. So I wish we would find some form of like a middle ground to that in some respect. Like, so yeah, I do want to play the game now and I do want to like finish it off because I really enjoyed the first game. So it's still on my list. I finished Elden Ring, got the platinum on that. Then I played through Bloodborne again because I finished Elden Ring and I was in the mood for it, so I went through that game again. I just finished that off last night. Man, that game is easy compared to Elden Ring. Like I thought that game was super hard the first time I played it. It is a cakewalk now. It is stupid easy.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, Elden Ring is difficult.
I couldn't get through the first level.
Yeah, it's purely because of the Elden Ring thing. Like because I did it the same as you, right? The first Souls game which I finished was Bloodborne. It's super difficult and all that sort of stuff. I had my problems with it back then. Still have the same problems with it now. The fact that the health potions are consumables that you can just get through and they don't just regenerate and stuff, and you have to go and grind to find health potions and stuff like that. It's not fun. That side of it like really annoyed me at the time, and all that was streamlined in Elden Ring. But Elden Ring is just like 10 times more difficult. Like I didn't realize like how much more difficult it was. It's just ridiculous. But the freedom that comes with Elden Ring like alleviates a lot of that stress, I guess, like that comes with that. So
because you've got options and paths you can take. Yeah. Whereas other Souls games, you have to defeat that bit that you're struggling with. Have to like, figure it out.
Yeah. I mean,
and with other Souls games, the longer you spend trying to figure out that difficult bit, the more difficult it gets, doesn't it? Because you get less and less like life and potions and stuff. So
exactly. But yeah, I mean, Bloodborne, great game. Like, I'm surprised they haven't remastered it or like given it a 60 FPS patch, because I think it runs at like I don't even think it's 1080p on the PlayStation 4 and 5. Like they haven't patched it yet, so it's still running at like 900p or something. So like you can see like it's got a bit of datage on it, but it's not so bad that you can't play it, or like I'm waiting to like waiting for that patch, which will eventually come. Like people keep asking for it and stuff, so it's probably going to get shown this year at some point, I'm sure. But still a really enjoyable game, still great. I think the art direction is just way better in Bloodborne as well compared to Elden Ring as well. So
really controversial.
Yeah, I mean, because like I'm super into Celtic mythology and stuff. So like like the actual art direction, sorry, that's probably bad word use. So the art direction in Elden Ring is beautiful. It's great, but the graphics in Bloodborne are better than they are in Elden Ring. That's for sure. And that's just purely the nature of linearity versus the open worldness, right? So, like, if you come across an environment in Elden Ring, it's like they've got to account for everything and every way you can explore, whereas you're in corridors in Bloodborne, so it's just naturally going to have more polygons on the screen compared to Elden Ring. Like the way the specularity looks, like when the light hits the floor, and like when you get coated in blood, it's like the way that it shines and stuff. It's just like Jesus, like this is gray as hell. Like it looks really good. Whereas Elden Ring it lacks a little bit. It's kind of strange that they didn't add another layer of that but the Elden Ring is just an absolute like technical mess on next gen systems anyway. So maybe they'll do a next gen patch at some point, adding in RTX and all that sort of stuff. Who knows? But yeah, Bloodborne, great game. I had fun going through it again. Way easier than Elden Ring.
That makes me feel bad. Did you take your Switch when you went hiking?
I did.
Did you take your Switch?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you playing on that?
I played Toad's Treasure Tracker. I don't know if you've played this thing.
I've not heard of that.
Yeah, it's basically like an isometric game where it loads in these levels. I'll bring up some footage as well so people can have a look at it while I'm talking about it, because it's just such a bizarre like little game, but it's great. I have a lot of fun with it. So yeah, it's basically like an isometric game where it loads in these puzzle levels, basically, which are just squares, and you've just got to get through them and collect stuff as you sort of go through. It's nothing like it came out on the Wii U. Nothing graphically amazing. It's a very, very Nintendo game.
Is it kind of like Fez meets Nintendo, meets Toad?
Kind of. It's a little bit more compartmentalized than that, and it's just you're just basically trying to go through and collect. I think it's 3 stars or mushrooms. I can't remember what it is. And you're collecting coins as you go through, and you can max them all out. It's a very like it could be a mobile game. It should be a mobile game basically, but it's just a great little game. If you catch it on sale at any point, like it'll be a good game for you and your boy, I think. Like you should absolutely check it out. But yeah, go check out a review or something. But I loved playing this while I was on vacation.
Good like puzzly, take your mind off things, feel good type thing.
Yeah, it's just a very Nintendo game, I guess. Like it's good in small chunks. It's not something that you have to think about too much. There's no like grandiose story. You're not saving anyone. It's just Toad like trying to find treasure. That's it. And it's just like these little
nice,
cool little bites of level design But in terms of level design, it's really well done. It's definitely worth referencing just as a developer anyway. I had a lot of fun with it.
Good recommendation. Me and Harrison were actually playing. We went around my mum's and she's playing Horizon new Animal Crossing New Horizons.
Yeah.
And yeah, so we all played that. So we were going around all the different islands, like collecting oranges, digging holes, fishing. Yeah, it was really fun. They know how to make a good game where the purpose of the game is nothing, but it's so enjoyable. And I was trying, as a game designer, I was trying to pinpoint it. I was like, what's the aim? Like, what do I max out? Like,
what's the loop?
And
right.
What's the gameplay loop? And it is discovery. It seems like the gameplay loop is discovery. Like, the actual nuts and bolts of how you do things is secondary to the enjoyment of discovering new things and being able to craft things and that, so it's not like, oh, I'm going to go around, and you know, the whole point is that you can go, oh, I'm going to collect a load of resources X, Y, and Z so I can build X, Y, Z. You can do that, or you can just like chill out and fish for a bit. And so
yeah,
the game lets you do that.
No pressure on the Animal Crossing games.
Zero pressure. Whatsoever. Like if you leave it and do nothing, doesn't matter. And like Harrison, my boy, figured out how you can sleep on the camping bed, and my mum was like, "How did you do that? Like, I haven't been able to ever go to sleep in this whole game." And then now she was super stoked that she can actually go to bed in the camping bed.
Yeah,
and it seemed to have zero consequence. So that was great. So that was just really funny seeing like the three generations have their own takes on this. Me with like the game designer going, I can't figure this out. Where's the gameplay loop? But still passed the time and still had fun. You know, Harrison's 6 and my mum's 63. So there was the three of us, and I was like, wow, how many games can do that? Like, all talk about one thing and all take away something, and all having different levels of ability as well.
Yeah, there is something to be said about Animal Crossing and how adaptable it is to different generations in that respect.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is a fascinating game. Like, it annoys the hell out of me. Not the game itself, but like the concept of it is just like, this is a game that should not be successful, but it is because it's so charming and stuff, and it's so approachable and all this sort of good stuff. But like, because it's like an aimless game, like there's no combat or anything like that, which is also a good thing. I believe.
Pitch, like, can you imagine pitching that game?
Right.
How? Like, you've got all these features. Like, no, you're not gonna have all those features. Like, just focus on 5. And then it's like, well, what's the story? No, there isn't one. No.
Yeah, you
need to have a story.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the story is do new stuff. No, because we're going to have 3 or 4 things. You can't have everything. Like, you have to ditch fishing. You have to ditch this water. Like, no, you can't have that. It's too much. But they did all of it, and it's aimless. Yeah. And it still works. I don't understand.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things around Animal Crossing or Dou Tsunomori in Japan, because like where it came from it's sort of like, because it came out in the N64 era. That was the first Animal Crossing game, and it was sort of slept on by the West until like the 3DS versions came out, or the DS version probably. I think that was the first one that really took off for the West. But yeah, for Japan, it sort of made sense because it was basically like games that inspired Stardew Valley, right? Like Harvest Moon and stuff like that. So they had those games, but there's also like a series in Japan which didn't make it to the West for good reason. But it's called Boku no Natsumi, which is like my summer vacation or something, I guess it would be. But in that game, all you do, you're basically just like this high school kid, or you're just basically this elementary school kid that goes to your grandparents' house, and it's just you spending a summer at your grandparents' house, and that's all you're doing. Like, there's no aim to it. Like, you're just you leave the house, and there's a whole town to explore, and you can go and catch bugs. You can go talk to the neighbors.
That's at least got a narrative structure that you can like resonate with. Like, that is a beginning, middle, and end to that. Like, summer vacation is happening. I'm a person that's going from being someone who isn't at my grandparents' house to being at my grandparents' house.
Sure,
I now do the things, and then at the end of the summer vacation.
But the actual game loop itself, it's kind of like Animal Crossing, that's aimless. So the fact that like they probably saw Boku no Natsumi and Harvest Moon sort of like merge them together, and it's like, okay, like I think we could make like a charming Nintendo IP out of this, and they absolutely did. Like, and it's now this huge thing. So it's kind of like I can sort of see where the seeds came from, but like to a Westerner, you probably look at this stuff like, how the hell did they even come up with this stuff? But it's like it totally makes sense in terms of like grabbing people in that just that loop of how to explore and feel like you're progressing on something and seeing familiar faces and all that sort of stuff, but at the same time you're always sat on your sofa or whatever. So there is something to be said about all of that. But yeah, great game.
So what you said that there's a good reason why it's not come over in the West. What's that good reason?
Well, Boku no Anatomy. It's very, very Japanese, incredibly Japanese. And I'm not just talking about like weird Japanese stuff, but there's just so many like cultural things which probably wouldn't come over that well.
Land.
Like you would have to translate it in a way where it just came across as kind of funky. You absolutely could translate it, and there's people that like there's fan translations of those games. Like they came out in the PS1, PS2. There was a PS3 version, PSP, and they've got another one come out not long ago by the same company. What is it? Crayon-chan. I can't remember. Like, yeah, it's like Crayon Shin-chan's Natsume. It's the same. It's a similar sort of game, but I'll show it on the screen right now so people can sort of look at it and they get the flavor of it. But it's basically you're playing an anime. But it's an anime which is like the most boring anime in the world, in that you're just like living your life as a kid in the summer and just like exploring the town and having fun and like meeting up with little kids and stuff, and it just having fun. So like to us as Westerners, like it would be seen as kind of aimless. Like it's kind of nuts to me that they haven't translated these since things like Animal Crossing, right? Like because there's a lot of appetite for this stuff now. It's just I don't think the Japanese market has really seen it yet, but hopefully this stuff comes over because it's great. I love this stuff. It's basically you just like hanging out with your friends in the summer and doing stupid little quests and you're making your own adventure in your own little town. But like in the West, we sort of like instead of playing a kid playing an adventure, like it'd be better to just give them the adventure sort of thing in the West, right?
Yeah, there's no reason to be the kid.
Yeah, exactly. Like you want to cut out that middle ground. So it's I get why they don't translate them, but at the same time, there's absolutely like enough weebs and like Japanophiles out there that would really love this stuff. So
because Western grown-ups don't really want to make friends with Japanese schoolboys.
Right, exactly. And that would be seen quite strange as if you were like a fully ass grown man, like making friends with schoolboys on this little game. And people are like, keep away from that one.
Yeah, but in Japan, it's
absolutely acceptable.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, different.
Well, it's not so much it's to do with it's not even to do with acceptable. It's like there's a market for it in Japan, and there's just no market for it in the West.
Yeah,
like, it's money in the West.
Right, exactly. So it's like there's a lot of there's kind of a fine line. And I always see that quite a lot, like being quite embedded in Japanese culture and like Japanese stuff anyway, just purely because I lived there for a while. There's always this line where something can be like quote unquote weeb enough, like it can be like for the Japan fans sort of thing. It can be before that line for it enough to get translated into the West. Things like Nintendo games, things like Animal Crossing, like inherently very Japanesey, but still
Studio Ghibli films and things.
Right, exactly. Like still enough to like be understood by Westerners. Whereas there's definitely a line after that where it gets too Japanese to the point that's like this doesn't really make sense anymore. Like in terms of doesn't make sense because like people can't understand it. It's just completely different cultural like thing to it. That's why a lot of interactive novels and stuff don't make it over from Japan, just purely because people just don't get the context a lot of the time. It's like, wait, where have I got to go? Why am I doing this and stuff? It's just because it's just how certain things are done in Japan. So it's I believe that's a lot of where these decisions get made if a game should get translated or not. And Boku no Natsume is exactly that sort of thing. But you can massage that in, which is where stuff like Animal Crossing comes in. So like there's other companies can sort of take that and make it a bit more applicable to a wider audience in the West. So it can absolutely be done. It's just a matter of. But I like the fact that there's them games that just never get translated to English. Sorry, like I do actually enjoy the fact that they are okay with that. Like they have their own cultures at the end of the day. Like I would like to see
have their place.
I'd like to see more like places do that as well. Like different countries and cultures that have their own games, which it's culture at the end of the day, and that's absolutely a part of it.
What would be like British? I guess a British game would be like totally
Untitled Goose Game.
Satirical.
Untitled Goose Game.
That was that British?
Yes, the most British game I've ever played in my life.
I don't think that was made by a British team.
Might have been made by someone else, but it was absolutely set in Britain.
It was like Scandinavian, I think, like Swedish or something.
Let's have a look. Let us have a look.
But I think a British game would be that wouldn't sell elsewhere would be some sort of like satire game or like political satire game or like a comedy game that's very British humor. I think that wouldn't translate as well.
Yeah, Snatched a video game. You know what I mean? Like I would love that, but Americans wouldn't get it.
No,
they'd just be like, "What is this? Why are they making jokes about that? Like, what was that word that they used? Like Cockney rhyme slang, right? Like you couldn't just throw that in without like some form of explanation to an American sort of thing.
Yeah,
like the amount of Americans that I've met which have to watch Snatch with subtitles on is just it's endless. Like it's really funny to me. But like to me, it's like one of the greatest movies ever made. I think it's Guy Ritchie's best film. So it's just there's things that are inherently British. You were right, by the way. It wasn't a British studio. It's an Australian studio, but they probably have like some British heritage in there, I guess.
Oh well, I know that the marketing manager is definitely from somewhere like Scandinavian.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, British game that wouldn't do well is like a Snatch game. Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah. What else? Like
what else is totally British?
Everybody's Gone to the Rapture. That's another quite British game.
Right.
But again, that's kind of applicable to the West anyway. Because this is the thing, like English and American cultures are they're about 80% the same in most respects. Like that last 20% is it's like 10% is politics and then the other 10% is the what's called like the religious stuff, right? Like that's the biggest difference between England and America to me anyway, is the whole
guns.
Yeah, but that's part of the politics stuff, right?
That's part of the politics. Yeah.
Like guns, healthcare, stuff like that. Like how we look at like women's rights and stuff like that. It's just different. Like the fact that conservative, not to get political or anything, but it's just I'm just like sort of highlighting the differences. The conservative government in the UK recognizes that climate change is a problem, whereas conservatives in America just don't. So that's the 10% I'm sort of talking about, and then the last 10% is just religion. Like their views on religion is just vastly different from over that the Atlantic Ocean is just it creates a big divide between those two things. Like I'm still it blows my mind like how different they are. But other than that, like the other 80% is similar. So like any game that comes out that is British in culture sort of thing, then it would still be deemed suitable for an American audience, I would assume.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. And like with our comedy as well, it's very sarcastic, and so there could be a lot of sarcasm and stuff.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be
when
well
Americans
received
say, "Oh, this character's really sarcastic," there's like, "Well, no, he's not sarcastic. He's just being
British.
Zany." Yeah. Or like when it's an American, when they describe an American character, like I'm thinking of Borderlands.
Sure.
I remember one of these characters was described as sarcastic, and I'm like, he's not sarcastic. He's not saying anything sarcastically. He's meaning everything he says. That's not sarcasm.
Yeah.
He's just extreme and zany and off the wall and different.
Yeah.
But yeah, they don't. So therefore, I think. So do you even know what sarcasm is?
Yeah, that's
it's like, oh no,
it's
like,
that is.
Oh no,
funny,
you do know what it is, don't you?
That is a funny side of it. Like they,
is.
it's being like sarcasm about sarcasm. That's like breaking the fourth wall somewhere. But yeah, they always like American politicians always use that as an excuse, like when they make a gaffe or they say something wrong or anything. Oh, it's being sarcastic. It's like that's not what sarcasm is, dude. Like that's not how this works. It's just. Like being from England, like I fully understand exactly what sarcasm is and how it's used and how it should be used, and people understand that in England as well. But if you sort of take that out and put it into America,
like a second language almost, like the subtext
without
of
doubt.
Sarcasm.
Yeah, without a doubt. And it's kind of similar to Japanese humor in that respect a lot of the time as well, how the Japanese people talk to each other. But America is just like 100% honest all the time, which is a good and a bad thing. England is a little bit further away from that, and then Japan is over here, which is like saying things.
Well, they never say what they mean.
Right, ever pretty much. And it's just like people, like I remember I got in trouble at school once, not school, like I was working at a Japanese elementary school, and one of the teachers came up to me and was like, "Oh, we saw you, like one of the students saw you walking down the street with your girlfriend. And like you were holding hands. Oh, you're such a gentleman, Vin Sensei, you know, sort of thing." I was just like, "Yeah, thanks." And then I walked away from that conversation fully aware that what they were actually telling me was, I wasn't a gentleman. Stop holding hands with your girlfriend in public where the kids can see you. That's what they were actually trying to tell me. So that's you've got to translate that out. And England has a little bit of that. You got to translate a little bit. So like trying to put that into a video game would be that
tricky.
That'd be tricky, but it'd be funny.
Yeah,
we should make a sarcastic video game. That'd be great.
We should do that. Yeah. So British audience, if that was translated, if that was in a video game, the British audience would be like, "That's weird that teacher is saying that guy's a gentleman. That doesn't make any sense." Like,
right.
Because we don't know the subtext of, like, don't do that.
Yeah. It's just comedy in the UK and the US is just diametrically different. I mean, I've got an American wife. I've lived in the US. I live in Canada at the moment. I'm from England. Like, I see all the dynamics to this, and just the way that British humor is, where they always like the comedy is in people having a bad experience. You know, it's always about like people. The main character is always inherently like a quite intelligent person that is constantly getting put down, and it's funny whenever they fail. And it's just like that self-deprecating, you know, like comedy and humor. Whereas in America, it's the complete opposite. It's always about people that are the underdog that succeed, and they always succeed, sort of thing. And it's about cheering them on and them getting there, and then everyone high-fiving at the end with fireworks in the background. Whereas in England, like the ending would be, you know, like he's still broke and he's still like frustrated and stuff. Like sometimes they make it out of that bubble. Like on the last episode, like Only Fools and Horses is a great example. Like,
well, it took 20, 30 years
for
them
to
happen
to make it right. And when they did make it, that was the
series,
last. That was the end.
There was always set back, and things always went wrong. Yeah.
And even when they do succeed, like they have to fail as well. Like the Harry Enfield episode, I always remember that episode of like when the what you call it, like the common people or whatever they were, like the ones that win the lottery.
The twits.
The twits, I think it was. Is that right?
I can't remember.
I can't remember the name. Yeah, but so like there's these people that live in the council estate and all that sort of stuff. I grew up in council estates. I'm not like knocking that down, by the way. So they're just like super ghetto people basically, and they win the lottery and they end up like spending it all and losing it like by the end of the episode, and it's funny because
Waynetta.
That was it. Yeah.
Wayne and Waynetta.
And they lose all their money by the end. And just the same thing with the Scouser episode that Harry Enfield did, where like they all go into a bank and they come out with like a load of money and they drink it all off and they're all calm down, all that sort of stuff. Hey, with the afros and stuff. It's just hilarious. But like if you did that bit in the US and you made fun of like certain regions of the US in the same way, which they do to some extent. They have like redneck jokes and stuff, but it's not the same way as like
it's not like characteristic. Like they wouldn't get a redneck to like. They wouldn't get a comedian wouldn't get famous for like dressing up and making fun of rednecks.
Right. Yeah. But Harry Enfield is absolutely well known because of his Scouser jokes and his teenager jokes. I would say
that's also dated now. Like that's moved on.
Yeah.
Because that was popular like 20 years ago.
Yeah, in the 90s.
That comedy has moved on now for sure. Like with Little Britain, they had to like apologize for half the stuff they did, and that was about 10 years ago. Yeah. So. I think we're in a different world now. Interestingly,
yeah, it is very strange. But like I guess the thing that I was getting at is the downtrodden, like slightly more intelligent hero that always fails. Like that is the
Basil Fawlty.
Perfect example, right?
Oh, he never wins.
But he's slightly more intelligent than everyone else in the room.
Especially more intelligent than his wife.
Yeah. And
in some things.
The glorious thing about those characters, more than anything, is like how frustrated they are at everyone else's stupidity, like while he's failing, sort of thing. And Basil Fawlty is like the perfect example of British humor. And that's why it still connects today. You watch Fawlty Towers today.
Yeah.
And it's just like, this is still
Whereas
relevant.
in America, you got Space Force. So Steve Carell is this like major.
Yeah.
So he's so successful. He's a bit of an idiot, but he's still so successful that he's a major as part of like an armed force of American government.
Yeah.
Like he's still doing pretty well, and they're doing budget cuts or whatever. But at the end of it, he's still a successful mayor,
succeeds.
like major.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never gets fired. Like he's still doing stuff.
No.
And by the end of the series, he will come out the hero sort of thing. And that's just the nature. Even if you set it up in the same way as British comedy in that respect, like they still, it's the way that it ends is different. Like when in Blackadder, like the Blackadder goes forth or whatever. Oh, the third season of Blackadder went the World War one.
Yeah,
and like at the very end of the series, like spoiler alert, like they go over the side in the trenches and they die at the end. Like and every Blackadder series is like that. And like the first series of Blackadder, like it literally gets burnt at the stake. I think it was.
Right.
Yeah, just hilarious stuff. I mean,
couldn't have that in American audience.
Not at all. Like they would just be like,
characters
"Why did
dying.
you no?" sort of thing. But
how does that feel good? Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the comedy? Yeah. Yeah.
Good old British humor.
So that's why British video games wouldn't, like a British video game can't really
We need
exist.
more of that stuff though, I think. Like we absolutely do. Like there's so many like I would love to play a video game where you just live like you're working in a pub or something, right? And it's just like British people coming in with their British problems and just having a bad day or whatever. And it just like with comedy doing that. Like there's a lot of stuff you could do with that. And it's just
like 2 pints of lager and packet crisps with a video game.
Exactly. And there's so many like commentaries you could do on British culture in that way, because we've got a lot of stuff that we comment on American culture, like Grand Theft Auto and things like this. But for British, I don't think we have that much. I mean, we are a small nation and all that sort of stuff. I get that, but still, I'd like to see more of that stuff. So please, if you are making video games, make a British comedy game. Like I would play it in a heartbeat. I love that stuff. Maybe I should make one.
Sounds good. Maybe you should. Next one.
No. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I've got too many games. Don't put more games on me. Like I want to make that pub game now. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, we should wrap this thing up. We've been going for a while.
Yes.
Everyone, thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us ramble on about British culture and video games and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, we appreciate you joining in every week. We normally post our episodes on Tuesdays, I believe it is now, Chris.
Well, it goes live on a Monday, but we don't really talk about it until Tuesday.
Okay.
But that might change because I don't think there's been any notice that I've seen from when we talk about it on Tuesday.
That's fair. Okay. Yeah.
So it's going to be up on. It's going to be up. I'm going to put it up today.
Okay. All right. Well,
because
But if you do want it as early as possible, then make sure you hit the bell icon on YouTube so you can be notified when we do put up an episode, which is normally at the start of the week. I'll say that.
Start of the week.
Start of
the week. Yeah. Start of the week.
So we'll put it up at the start of the week. You can also find us on any of your favorite podcast services, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course Google Podcasts. We're on Anchor as well. So any of your favorite podcast services, we're pretty much on there at any one time. So please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Chris, where can people find you?
So I'm on Twitter at Acrylic Pixel. I'm on YouTube, Acrylic Pixel. You can wish list the game on Steam, Focus Find. You can join my Patreon, which is Acrylic Pixel. Yeah, so like most Acrylic Pixel stuff. What about you, Vin? Where can we find you?
Yep, you can find me on Twitter. I am at Hillfort Games. My game Long Gone is constantly being updated there, but I also complain a lot about politics and other good stuff. If you're into that, you're probably not, but there it is. You can also wishlist the game on Steam. Just search for Long Gone. You'll see Zombie McBrightface and Pixel Fort just like hanging over a fence. That's me. Like, go and wishlist the game. I'd really appreciate it. Where else can you find me? You can find my concept art on ArtStation. So if you search for Vin Hill Art, you can find me on there. I've got a load of stuff up for Ubisoft on there if you're into that side of stuff. But other than that, just follow me on Twitter. That's the best place for it. And I'll also have devlogs going up soon on YouTube, which I also mentioned earlier. But I don't know when that's actually going to happen, so don't hold me to it yet. But yeah. Oh. Anyway, until next time, guys. Thank you very much, and have a good week.
See you in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.